Okay, so let's get ourselves ready for our restorative practice. Take a blanket or a big bath towel and cover over your mat, just so that you have got something that's really comfortable and warm, because you want comfort and warmth for this practice. Get a bolster from underneath your knees and some blocks for underneath your feet, and a folded blanket from underneath your head, and have a blanket to cover yourself over with if you're going to get cold. It's nice to take your glasses off during this practice, and also it's nice to cover your eyes. So if you've got one of these like yoga eye pillows, then it's nice to just, when you're laying down, just to cover your eyes with one of those, or you can just use a piece of material or a flannel or something, just something that's going to block out the light, because you want, if possible, darkness in order to relax. So just make sure you're in a comfortable position that you're going to be able to maintain. So the bolster is underneath your knees, the blocks are just supporting your feet, the blanket underneath your head, and then just enjoy the sensation of being able to release into the floor. Just give yourself permission to relax. So this hour of practice should be undemanding, it should be relaxing. So you might need to adjust your position if it doesn't feel right. So although the positions should feel relaxing, there's no, we're not trying to stay dead still. If you need, stillness is good, but if you need to adjust your position for comfort, then do. So once you have found a position that is comfortable and one that you're going to be able to maintain and stay in, then just allow yourself to let go. Just enjoy the straight line of the floor. Feel that you can release your arms into the floor, unhooking the muscles of the arms so that the body becomes heavy. Unhook the muscles of the legs, conscious of where the physical body makes contact with the floor and the equipment. So allow your physical body to become heavy on the floor, because from that heaviness you'll find that a feeling of lightness rises up into the upper facing skin. Use your out breath to just release any tension that you have brought onto the mat from your day. Any frustrations or discomforts that you've brought onto your mat, just allow those to drift away with the exhalation. So breathe them out of you. Draw your attention into the soles of your feet. And consciously, with your out breath, allow the sole of the foot to relax completely, like you're letting go of the skin. Draw your attention to the top of your feet. Draw your attention to the tops of the feet, and then allow the tops of your feet to relax, as though you're letting go of the skin. And then draw your attention to your shins. Draw your attention into your shins, to the skin of the shins, and allow the shins to completely relax. Draw your attention into your kneecaps and relax your kneecaps, allowing the fronts of the kneecaps to sink into the back of the knee. Relax your kneecaps and draw your attention into your thighs. Draw your attention into your thighs and allow your thighs to completely relax. Draw your attention into your pelvis. Relax your pelvis and draw your attention into the abdomen and into the chest. Relaxing the skin of the torso. Relax your torso around the chest and around the abdomen. Just allowing yourself to yield to the straight line of the floor. Relax the chest, skin around the chest and the muscles between the ribs and the abdominal muscles, just allowing the body to release into the floor. Release your arms into the floor. Just observe how the arms make contact with the floor and allow the arms to completely relax, just relying on the floor to the side of you. Relaxing all the way down into the wrists, into the palms, into the backs of the palms and into the fingers. Soften the neck. Allow the neck to release into the floor. Soften your face. muscles around the skull. Soften the jaw and the tongue and throat. Soften the skin around the forehead and around the eyes and around the face, around the cheekbones, around the nostrils and the mouth. So remember that as we progress into the practice, I'll speak less and less so that you don't need to listen. You can just use this opportunity to relax. Okay, when you're ready to disturb yourself, just gently wriggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and then bend your knees. Bring your feet onto the bolster. Just have the feet resting on the bolster, the knees together. Just resting your back into the floor. And then roll onto your right side. And then stretch out your top leg and then come up into a seated position. Just cross legs for a moment. Sitting cross legs and observe how your energy feels lighter. Your body feels a little lighter from the inside. Okay, we're going to do a supported side stretch. So if you've got one of these oblong bolsters, this is better than a tubular bolster for this next pose. If you don't have one of these oblong bolsters, then you can just get your blanket, unfold your blanket, and then like this, so you've got a long, narrow blanket, then fold it down the middle, and fold it down the middle again, and then even fold it down the middle again. So you've got this kind of like a little kind of seat to sit on, and that is going to go into the armpit area, just the side ribs underneath the armpit on the side that we're going to come on to. Have a block for your head, and that should be all you need. So I'll show you. We're going to just come over onto our side. So you're going to sit with one side against the close to the bolster with the knees bent, and then you lengthen the side ribs out along the bolster, just making sure that the armpit chest is supported by that bolster, and then have a block for your head. So just get yourself comfortable at this stage. You just keep your top arm just resting on your hip for the moment. Just find that position where there's this lift underneath the armpit chest, and then you just raise your arm over your head, rest your arm on top of the ear, and then just stretch your arm over. Now, if your shoulder is stiff, then you might want a block for underneath your hand. So when you stretch that arm over, you're not bringing your arm all the way down. And then maybe you just kind of gradually, bit by bit, I'm not sure if you can see my block actually. So you can start up on this high end and then just go down to the low end, and then maybe go without the block at all. So again, cover yourself over, and then either just keeping the top arm on the side of on the side hip, or stretching it over, resting your arm over your ear. So, as I said earlier, just adjust if you need to, just find that perfect sweet spot of comfort. So you need to find a position that it's comfortable to remain in. And then bring the top arm back just to rest on your hip for a moment. And push your elbow into the floor and then bring yourself up into seated position. Cross legs for a moment. Just observe how one side of the body maybe feels different to the other side of the body. Just observe the energy that you release through that side stretching pose. And then let's do the other side. So just come over onto your other side with leaving the bolster where it is, leaving the equipment where it is. Just keep your knees bent. Just stretch along the bolster, have the bolster in the armpit chest region, have the block for underneath your head, and then you can either stay with the arm on the side if you prefer, or stretch your arm over your ear. Again, just using the block for that other hand. If you have got really stiff shoulders, just staying on the tall end or the low end, or just not using a block at all, just for that lifted arm. So you give yourself some comfort. So find the position that works for you. And then release into the floor. Okay, and then just bring the top arm back onto the side of your hip and push the hand that's in the floor down into the floor, come up into cross legged position, and then just come back into cross legs. And just observe how maybe there you can feel how it's opened up your shoulders a little, how the energy feels more balanced between the two sides of the torso. So we're going to stay with the bolster in place, or with the blanket in place, and then we're going to do a slight variation of that pose. So I'll show you just. So we're going to come down onto the side. So just start in the same way with a block for the head. You might want a block over here just for your arm. So you can start on your side, two hands together, and then keep the arm that's on the floor, and then just roll over. Just have a block under your head and let that other arm just float in the air. If it feels too strong to float that arm up in the air, then support it with a block or some bricks, or even like a little low stool. And then again, you get a really good opening of the chest. So just come onto your side. So similarly to the previous pose, just a little spinal twist. Got a really good opening of the front chest. Just come down onto your side, have the two arms connected, two hands touching, both arms bent into a right angle, and then lift the top arm over, and then just allow that arm to either float in the air or have a block underneath the elbow. If it's too strong for you, then you can just go back to the previous pose with your arm over your ear. So just see how that feels for you. So you keep your knees where they are, and then you roll over onto your back. Keep the knees back down on the floor. So it's quite a strong opening action of that upper shoulder, of the front of the shoulder. So just normal deep inhalations, normal deep exhalations. We're not going to stay here quite so long. Just opening up the front of the chest. So these poses are really good for just releasing stiff shoulders. But remember, it should never feel painful or unbearable. If it does, then give yourself extra support, or just come out of the pose and do the previous pose. There's nothing to be gained from bearing pain. You should never tolerate pain in these poses. Okay, just bring that arm back over just to rest on the floor next to the other arm, on top of the other arm. And then stretch out the top leg, come back into just cross legs, just feel how the spine feels long and extended. And then let's just go over to the other side. So again, if there's real resistance, just give yourself adjustments or do a pose that feels less strong. So just be on your other side with the bolster in the armpit chest. And then just bring the two hands are together in right angles, and then just stretch the upper arm over so that it floats in the air or as support underneath the elbow or the hand. Just breathe evenly into the pose. So the two arms are in the right angle, a little bit like a cactus. Okay, and then when you're ready, just bring that top arm back over to the side. Just have the two hands touch it. Just rest on your side for a moment. And then straighten out the top leg and then come back up into the cross-legged position. And just feel the warmth around the shoulders. Good actions for stiff shoulders. Okay, and then just get if you've got a tubular bolster, it's better than your oblong one. If you haven't, then just use whichever bolster you've got. Just have a bolster for your back, and then you're just going to have your legs outstretched just for the last couple of minutes. If you've got something maybe to put underneath your back as well, that's underneath your knees as well, then use that. And then just lift yourself over the bolster. Now, if this is too strong in your back, then just shuffle it away from your back a little. Have a blanket for underneath your head, just to support your head. And then just rest down into the floor. So again, the bolster is just opening up the front of the shoulders. Just allow yourself to release into the floor. You don't necessarily need the other bolsters, other bolster underneath your knees. This just helps to open the chest. So holding these poses means a surprising amount of energy into the physical body. They give the body a surprising amount of challenge. So opening the shoulders just allows the body to just release the stress and tension you hold around the chest and around the shoulders and around the neck. Okay, just gently wriggle your toes. Just lift yourself up into a seated position. And then just come into cross legs. With your hands in the masti. Just a final spinal lift. Drawing the breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice. That surprising amount of abundant, positive energy that fills the body as a result of our long-held poses. Conscious of the clean, positive energy that we've just created through our sequence of poses. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. Bestowing your positive energy on all living things. And then gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you have just really gently released and opened your energy, giving yourself a good level of energy for your evening, and you should be able to sleep really well after that. So thank you very much for joining me.